going on, guys? Jacob here, and after a lot of requests and I guess people interested about Mr. Karl Di Falco's dual athlete season in winning under 66 kilo nationals, setting a national squat record, and then placing top 3 at state titles in physique, and then going on to come top 5 at nationals. We've had a lot of interest and curiosity around how we went about things, haven't we?
Yeah. Always get people saying it's not possible to do, they conflict each other.
Yeah. A lot of people thought that it was mission impossible, and indeed it was, but we proved that it is possible. And I guess we wanted to make this video to discuss what we did, how we did it, why we did it, and I guess give you all some insight into how we approached Karl's nutrition and training. So let's start with the primary objective for this year, and that was to win nationals and set the record. We set that as our primary focus, and the bodybuilding was a secondary goal that we were trying to achieve in conjunction with that. I think that was really important to our success. Would you agree, Karl?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, having a coach and sitting down on a daily basis, we executed the plan, which was to spend minimal time in that hypertrophy block, because bottom line was time was a bit against us, so the peak was definitely more important. But Jacob was really intelligent, and with those hypertrophy movements, he was doing things that was going to correlate to my powerlifting, so it was very specific at the same time.
We had a lot of high bar focus because knowing that leverages change when we get leaner. I knew that as Karl got leaner, he would lose quite a bit of fat around the waist and hips, which was going to force his squat to be a little bit more upright. So I think that was really important in terms of how we programmed in those early phases for setting up for success. Having the quad strength to then be able to squat those big numbers when you were smaller and lighter with that more upright torso angle.
And the other one also was generally my shoulders get really beat up. Something I was scared of is staying away from the barbell movements, but implementing them pretty later than what I'm generally used to. That definitely helped a lot, and we saw a lot more thoracic extension. Arch got better. Mention was pain-free, so that was also a game changer.
Yeah, I think in those early stages, what did we do? We pulled away from the low bar squat, no barbell bench, and we didn't have any conventional deadlifts for that first mesocycle. And I guess a lot of powerlifters would be fearful to do that, because they'd be afraid that their squat, bench, dead is going to go down. If you're not doing those lifts, you're not getting better. But for someone like Karl, we really had to pull away from those lifts to get him injury-free, to make sure that he was able to, train around them and improve weaknesses. More importantly, as we said with quads, we had to really build some strength with the quads. We had to improve your upper back and your thoracic extension. We had to improve your chest strength as well, which is why we got a lot of incline dumbbell press, and all of those things really started to pay off down the track, as opposed to that immediate benefit of, oh cool, I'm getting stronger now. It was very much a case of allowing the body to recover, and then that translating into improved performance 5 mesocycles down the track.
Exactly right, yeah.
And in terms of the training, one of the biggest things that we had to manage in we cut from 72 to 64, one of the biggest things that we had to manage was your fatigue.
Yeah, that's why my body awareness that was something I really take from the whole prep, is doing less was better for this, and that was paramount to recovery, because it was literally one day feeling 10 out of 10, and the next day walking feeling 2, and just really trying to manage that. And that's where the nutrition became very key to success as well, where we had a certain amount of carbs to play around with, and just something I found that was useful was fasting until like 10, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, just to target my nutrition around training.
Yeah, and we'll cover all of the details about nutrition in a sec. And with the training, yeah, that was the first time you've ever gone 4 times a week for your contest prep, for your powerlifting peak, hasn't it? Yeah. So again, when you're cutting a weight class, you know, we have to remember that dieting brings with it fatigue, and as a result, you know, our recovery is going to suffer. So I guess the takeaway for anyone listening who's looking to cut to a lower weight class is that you need to start to monitor your training volume, intensity, frequency, those big players and those variables that we obviously manipulate to peak performance. And of most importance is how you manage them to account for adaptation and fatigue, which is what became really important to your success towards the latter end. And I guess a lot of people are going to ask, you won the physique show, and you set a squat record, 166 kilo nationals, but did you do any bodybuilding training during this? Everyone's going to ask, did you do bicep curls? Did you do side raises? Or did you just squat, bench, and deadlift? Like, I know we're going to have a lot of questions like that. So, you know, from a coach's standpoint, Karl had enough muscle mass to get on stage. And I knew that he wasn't going to lose much if he just did squat, bench, and deadlift, because I'd seen Karl, at 70 odd kilos and whatnot before, competes and all the rest of it, and having gone through phases of just competition-specific lifts, I knew he would be able to retain that muscle, even in hypocaloric conditions. So I didn't program him. And did that freak you out in terms of like getting on stage for bodybuilding? Did you get apprehensive or concerned that, oh my god, I'm not doing any bicep curls, I'm not doing any delts, I'm not doing any carbs, like is the squat, bench, and deadlift going to be enough to allow me to get on stage?
Yeah, it was overwhelming initially, but then, like I say, seeing that I've got a good amount of muscle mass on me, so I was fingers crossed. I was hoping that those would be enough of a stimulus, and they definitely were.
Yeah. So for those of you who are wondering, we didn't do any bicep curls, we didn't do any tricep raises, calf raises, any of that. It was powerlifting specific because again, that was our primary goal. I think that was even more of a factor, to the success of your competitive season, was that we did just have a specific goal, and we let the training take care of the powerlifting, and the nutrition to take care of the body fat, which was obviously the physique related goals, but at the same time incorporating the nutrition to support your training and recovery. And we'll get into that in a sec. And the final thing I think we should note on your training was how you peaked for the physique show and the pump up routine. Now, we actually ditched the traditional pump up routine before Karl went on stage, and instead I had him do a whole heap of rehab shit because he had to squat, bench, and deadlift the following week. So we were in the backstage of New South Wales ICN states, doing banded squats, planks, abdominal bracing exercises, rotator cuff drills, a couple of push-ups, and a few light bicep curls. But that was really interesting, wasn't it?
And it was at that moment I realised, what have I got myself into? Yeah. So I was absolutely spent. My back was locked.
And again, it comes back to specificity. We really did everything we could to make sure that 90% or more of what we did was in line with that overarching goal of getting that squat record with the nationals. Everything else was really superfluous to that. So let's talk about the diet. We started off pretty aggressively.
Yeah.
We did. We were at 72 kilos. We had you on 2,100 calories from memory, and we dropped pretty quickly those initial phases.
Yeah, and we're able to really write that out further than expected.
Yeah.
I think it was expected to maybe change it up after 2 weeks, but I think it got down to like 4 weeks and things were still moving very linear.
Yeah.
Had those moments where I felt during the end of the week start of the week it was holding, and then boom, over the weekend it would just have these really rapid drops.
It was dancing at Lumber.
C4 pre-workout.
But the nutrition was very interesting. From my end, I guess, as a coach, it was probably the most hands-on I've been with somebody's nutrition from a day-to-day basis. We were checking daily and adapting the protocol based on your response the previous day, your recovery, energy levels, all those kind of things. So the idea behind Karl's entire peak or preparation for the powerlifting and the physique, doing them both at the same time, was to get him lean enough early before he hit his peak for the powerlifting, so that we could reverse diet his calories up into the show, and then also bring his body weight back up to 66, whilst giving him sufficient intake to support those hard training sessions. And it worked brilliantly.
Oh, it's funny. Sometimes 100 grams of carbs, he just says with a cup of rice. That's it.
Yeah, and literally, like, we were having multiple refeed days, lots of carbs around your training, and those little things. There's not often as a coach I get to work with someone where all the details matter, and this was one of those very rare opportunities for me to try and utilize every single ounce of knowledge that I have, and really focus on the minutiae of training and nutrition. And we did that, and it was the difference at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
And in terms of the nutrition towards the end, where did you think that we were going to go with things? Were you confident in the process? Like, did you think that far out, like, how can I just keep eating more and not be gaining all this weight? Like, what the hell's going on? Like, what were your thoughts, and how did you find increasing your intake, physically, like in terms of energy as well as mentally?
Well, yeah, what was interesting was we were projected to be on stage at 66, but we got down to 64. Yeah. So we're in prime real estate there.
Prime real estate.
And then that's when it was like projected to stick around 2.5, able to just keep testing the waters to around 3,000, and obviously get up to 65.7 was the weigh-in. Then we had a 3,200 calories on the day of the competition, and then the next day also had another 3,000, and then we came in really full, looking good, and we're like, this is unbelievable. It's just work to it, playing to a T.
Yeah, as I've said many times to you, and I'm sure you guys would have realised, it really was the perfect outcome in terms of what we set out to achieve, and then what actually resulted at the end of the day. But I guess would you recommend this to anyone?
No, I definitely wouldn't recommend this one. No.
Yeah.
It was good to have done it, but it's something I wouldn't do again.
Yeah, and I definitely have to agree with that. I think there's only a special kind of person who's a little bit crazier than most, that would be able to thrive in these kind of conditions. And you were one of them, which is why it's so amazing what you did. I haven't heard of anybody else. I've heard of many people, doing bodybuilding and powerlifting in the same, season or contest prep. That's not uncommon. But I've never heard anybody take a national record, win nationals, and then literally in less than 48 hours come top 5 in their category at nationals in a physique show. So I guess, that's why we wanted to talk about it, because it is a really unusual and unheard of success story, and I think there's a lot of lessons that many people can take from this in terms of the application of nutrition to powerlifting, which we spoke about, in terms of the benefits of reverse dieting for powerlifters as opposed to big drastic weight cuts. Something we're definitely going to start to experiment next year with Worlds. Instead of being at like 70 kilos, cutting to 66, we're going to probably sit around at 60, we're going to cut down to 67-ish, 68 kilos, and then reverse diet on as many calories as we can, while trying to sit in that sweet spot of where you need to be to have as little a weight cut as possible, which I think is uncommon practice.
Yeah, and it's funny, because those last 2 weeks is when you're at your most beat up, and you start to do, you got to keep pushing the water, and you're doing your heavy double and that. So it was actually really good to have more food, saying you're like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be pulling everything back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I guess the other big takeaway, for bodybuilders is that maybe we do need a lot less training volume to maintain our muscle and size. Obviously, there's a lot of caveats to that, but we saw that you can hold on to quite a bit of muscle with high quality training, as opposed to trying to focus on volume per se. The intensity really did a lot there. And anecdotally, you know, that's something that I've definitely taken away from that. So, thank you, Chaos. Guys, hope you learned a bit from that. I hope you found it enjoyable, interesting. If you have questions, comments for Karl, hit us up below, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll speak to you all next time. I'm Jacob, this is Crazy Karl. Do we get a note? Oh fuck, it stopped recording. Nah, it didn't.